Good day, everybody. Today I have a charter cargo treat. Today I caught an Ameristar DC-9-10 landing at Louisville Airport. Before I get into the video, I realize now that I have probably one of the last videos of this aircraft in action. An incident occurred on April 6, 2025 at Austin-Bergstrom International Airport after a flight from Fort Wayne. November 785 Whiskey suffered damage when a fuel vent failed and led to overpressurizing the fuel lines, blowing the overwing cap and punching a hole in the wing. This plane, that has been flying the skies a year and a month before the first Boeing 747 took flight in September of 1968, seeing the birth and the death of hundreds of airlines, flying alongside the Concorde 707, Super Connie, DC-6s, Caravels, Tridents, 737s, and 727s, all the way to the new age like the A350, 787, and Beta CX-300s, only to be taken down by a failed fuel vent. I'm not sure about you, but I find that really saddening. So just keep that in mind for the rest of the video. Now let's get ready for the landing. Alright, just rushed back from my lunch to see this DC-9-15 from Ameristar. So please enjoy! Let's see, 785 Tango Whiskey. Alright. Oh my goodness. Well, got my work cut out for me. Well, I have a rule for my charters. All history must be said. So buckle up. Alright, we have an Ameristar built as a DC-9-10 that started life out with Continental Airlines in August 1967 with the tail number November 8907. She was sold to Air Canada in April of 1973 with the tail number Charlie Foxtrot Tango Oscar Tango and Charlie Foxtrot Tango Oscar Tango with beautiful, now retro Air Canada colors. She was sold to Air Florida in December of 1980 with the registration November 72 Alpha Foxtrot. Air Florida was a regional American low-cost airline that was around from 1972 to 1984. She was then sold to Emerald Air in November of 1981 with the same registration. Emerald Air was a small regional airline in Texas with scheduled passenger service to Austin, Houston, San Antonio, and McAllen. She was sold to Pure Little Courier after undergoing a cargo conversion on February 1982 with the same tail number. Pure Little Courier is partly owned and mostly operated by the Canadian Post. She was then sold to Emery Worldwide Airlines on September 1987 with the same tail number. Emery Worldwide Airlines was a cargo airline subsidiary from Emery Worldwide, which for the time was one of the nation's major cargo airlines. She was sold to Unifly Express on May of 1988 with the registration India Tango India Alpha Romeo. Unifly Express was an Italian airline that operated from 1980 to 1990. She was then sold to Fortune Aviation in June of 1990 with the same tail number. From what I can find, Fortune Air does conversions, and I think they converted this DC-9 back to a passenger aircraft. I didn't know you could undo a freighter conversion. She was then sold to Noman on February 1994 with the same tail number. Noman Air is a really small Italian airline, with this being one of two aircraft. Noman merged with Air One, as did this aircraft in March of 1997. Air One was an Italian low-cost airline. She was then sold to Reliant Airlines in May of 1999 with the tail number November 451 Alpha Mike and November 917 Romeo. I can't find much of any information except they only had one aircraft, which looks like it went back to a freighter. By now, who knows? I've been working on this analyzation for 2 hours now. Anyways, finally we get to Ameristar, who acquired this aircraft in August 2002 with the registration November 9373 Golf and November 785 Tango Whiskey. She is a nice young age of 57.7 years old and was flying chartered cargo from Laredo. This aircraft is by far the most interesting plane I have seen and probably will be for a long time.